Hello, and welcome to this U.S. History course at Kilgore College. I'm Professor Glosson, and I'll be your instructor. Now, this being a Mini-Mester course, you're going to have a lot of material to cover in a very short amount of time because we're compacting a whole semester into a short amount of time. And even though I have reduced the number of assignments for this course, there's still going to be an awful lot of work to do each and every day. So make sure you start from the very first day, keep up, don't get behind, and you will do fine. You just got to make sure you keep up. Now, this is also an online course, which means you are your own primary instructor. Although I am here to help you and give you the materials and teach you online, I can't be there with you at your home or wherever you're doing the course and make you do the work. You've got to make sure you motivate yourself and keep up. So be sure you keep up on a daily basis, and if you do, you're going to do well. But just keep that in mind as you get going. Alright, so the first thing, as we begin this course, the very first thing you want to do is go to our course Blackboard page and print off the course syllabus. Be sure you use the syllabus that is on the Blackboard page and not a previous copy that you may have received off of the college website, because that will be a more general syllabus and may not have the most recent up-to-date information. Now, the due dates that are in your syllabus are the due dates that will be following throughout this course, so make sure you keep it with you and complete the assignments each day as they come due, and you should be fine. Another thing you're going to need is your textbook, Exploring American Histories, A Survey with Sources. Your cover will look different. That's where you're going to have your primary information. That'll be your reading material, and you'll have a lot to read every day to keep up, since we're compacting a course here, but it's a pretty good textbook and will give you good information. Now, in addition to the textbook, we will also be using with this course something called Macmillan Launchpad. And it is the online supplement to this textbook. So if you bought the textbook new, you will have a code, and on the course page you can register that code and you can access the materials for this textbook. If you do not have a new textbook, then on the course page there will be instructions for how you may purchase access to this supplemental material. It will be required for this course. Many of the assignments that we are doing will be done through this supplemental material, and without access to that, you will not be able to complete the course. So be sure you do that day one so you do not get behind. Alright, our Blackboard page will be where you're doing all of your work, and I have it divided up into units. So as we begin Unit 1 on the first day, for several days we'll be working through that material, and then we'll move on to Unit 2, and these units will move pretty quickly. So this is basically what you'll do within each unit. First of all, you'll have a reading assignment from the textbook. And in addition to the reading assignment, I will also have a very short introductory video, and I will have some online notes. They're kind of in PowerPoint format, but they have additional information. And anything you don't find in the textbook, you should be able to find it in those notes that I've provided there. So those are the materials you can review. Now, I also have with every unit a study guide. And that's the first thing you need to do when you start every unit, even before you watch my little introductory video, is print the study guide for that unit. And then keep it with you as you do your reading, as you watch videos, as you do assignments or review the notes. And if you make sure you know every one of the definitions that's on that study guide, then you're going to have the information you need to do well on the unit test, and also to do well on the midterm and the final exam. So the study guide is your guide to knowing what you need to for the course. Now, the assignments for each unit, first of all, there'll be what's called Learning Curve, which is on the Macmillan Launchpad app. And by the way, you won't need to go to a separate website to do all the Macmillan assignments. They are, once you have completed your registration, they will be linked. So when you click on an assignment on Blackboard, it will take you to their site, you'll complete the assignment there, and it will go into the gradebook on our Blackboard page. So it won't be a bunch of extra stuff for you once you've got registered. But the learning curve is basically kind of a little quiz, a review of what you've read. So after you read the material, you'll complete a learning curve assignment, which will give you questions from the material. And I think the target goal will be 400 points for each learning curve. And they're like worth 25 points a question. So you get a question right, you've got 25 points towards your 400. And the grade is a completion grade. So if you get the 400 points, you complete the learning curve assignment, you get 100. If you fall short of that 400 points and don't get around to finishing it, you get a 0. So complete the learning curve assignments. They're an easy grade, and they help review the material you need to know. Now, there may be more than one learning curve assignment per unit, depending on how many chapters we covered. So on the page, I'll let you know which ones you need to complete. But usually they don't take more than 20 or 30 minutes to work through a learning curve assignment. Then there will be for every unit a discussion forum where I will ask you some question related to the material we're covering, and you'll go to the discussion forum page and you will post an answer to that question. You need to post your initial answer to that question by the second day that a unit is open. Because the idea is you'll post your answer, other people will post their answer, and then in a discussion you'll go in and you'll comment to them and they'll comment to you and you'll reply back and forth. But that can't happen if everyone waits till the very last minute. So on day 2, by midnight of the second day, you should have already made your initial answer to the question, and then you go back and respond to other people's posts or respond to what they posted to you. And you should have 2 to 4 responses that you make. There's no limit. You could keep responding all the time. There's no need to do that. But 2 to 4 good responses in addition to a good initial post, maybe a little paragraph that explains your answer, should be sufficient for you to get an A. But if you just leave comments like, I agree, or that's interesting, that's not going to really give you any points. Be sure you explain why you agree. And in your initial post, explain why you have the opinion you do. So use facts. Now, another thing to remember about a discussion forum is it is your opinion, but use facts that you've learned to back up your opinions. And please be sure as you communicate online, don't use abbreviations like you would in texting. Not everyone's going to know, especially your professor, what all those abbreviations mean. So use proper grammar. Secondly, do not use sarcasm. People cannot read sarcasm. So say what you mean. Don't be sarcastic. I did have someone once on a discussion forum, and they were sarcastic about slavery. They said, and this was what they said, yeah, slavery was a really good idea. But it read as, slavery was a really good idea. And you can imagine what kind of firestorm that started. And I had to try to clean up. So do not use sarcasm. Say what you mean, communicate clearly, and be professional, be polite. These are supposed to be history-based opinions, not an area for you to get personally offended and worked up. So keep it professional, keep focused on a historical analysis. Alright, another assignment you'll have each unit is a document analysis assignment where you will be given a couple of primary sources, often journals or letters that were written by people from that time period about a particular topic. And then you will either be given a question to answer or a quiz to complete about what you read. And that will be another type of assignment. Now, the grades that you get, 15% of your grade will come from assignments, which would include your learning curve assignment and your document assignment. That's 15% of your grade. Another 15% comes from your discussion forum for each unit. So that also will be a part of your overall grade. Now, at the end of every unit, you will have a unit test, and that will cover the material that was in that unit. Now, there are 3 unit tests actually. Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 4 will have an online unit test, It'll have questions over the unit, and it is open book, open notes, so there's no reason you should not make an A on it. Read the material, know the material, have your notes organized, and then get every question right. You should pad your average with these 3 online tests. They will be 20% of your grade. Now after Unit 3, there'll be a midterm exam, and this is a short unit, so you need to be studying from day 1, preparing for it, and it will cover Units 1 through 3. And then at the end of the course, after Unit 5, there will be a final exam, which will cover everything you've learned. So be learning along the way, studying those study guides. Now the exam, midterm, and the final, both of these will be proctored. What you will do is we will be using a service called Proctor U Auto, where on your computer you will log in, and you will need a computer camera to take these tests on. So you're going to need to arrange to be at a computer that has a camera that can watch you while you are taking the test. And they'll be able to see what you're doing. They'll be able to see if you are focused on answering questions or if you are trying to look materials up in another window or over here on the side, or there's someone in the room helping you, and they'll see your face and know if it's you that's taking the test. So it is a program that's meant to give you a proctoring situation to be sure you're doing the work yourself at home, where you don't have to go to the campus or somewhere to be supervised. So that will be the way we do our tests. So make sure you know your material. Now, each of those exams, the midterm is worth 20%, the final is worth 20%. So 40% of your grade comes from those 2 exams. So be sure you study and learn material well. And the study guides are the key to that. The other 10% of your grade comes from a choices in history paper. And we will begin towards the end of this first week completing parts of the choices in history paper. And we'll work on it throughout the whole Mini-Mester course. So don't worry about it. I'll just add that in each week as an extra assignment that you'll do to give me your topic, to give me your sources, to write your thesis, to then write your paper itself. And I'll step you through it just a little bit at a time, and it'll be worth 10% of your overall grade. All right, finally, a few things. Let's see. First of all, communicating with me, you will be using the Kilgore College email. Please check your Kilgore College email. I'm not allowed to communicate to you through your personal email. I have to use the college email. It's the college's rule. There also is an additional way you can communicate. If you sign up, and this will be on the startup page, there'll be a link to sign up for Remind. So if you sign up for Remind, you'll receive texts. The same information I'm sending to people's email will show up in your text on your phone, so you get it a little easier. But it's the same format. It's coming through my email. So if you have questions or communications for me, it'll come through the email. And please use that if you have questions, if you need to communicate with me. I want to help you. I want you to succeed. That's my job, to help you get the credit you need for this course. So I'm rooting for you. I want you to do well. And if you have problems, if you have issues, if you have emergencies pop up, communicate with me as quickly as possible so I can step in and help you deal with that problem. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. As you're working on this course, it's an online course, so you have to have a functional computer that meets the standards of the assignments we're doing. So please be sure, if you run into technical problems, you can contact me. I may not be much help with technical problems. Please also consider contacting the Kilgore Help Desk, and there's a link for that on the startup page. They are the people who can really give you technical assistance with all these programs if you run into problems. And do not wait till the last minute to complete work, especially since it's a Mini-Mester course. But due dates are on the day they're assigned. If they're turned in late, they'll be counted as late, or they may not be available at all in the case of discussion forums or quizzes. So you need to make sure that you do work on time. Don't wait till the last minute. And if you end up with a technical problem because you waited to the last minute, there's not necessarily a guarantee I'm going to say, okay, there was a storm and the power went out 10 minutes before your project was due. Well, you should have done that 6 hours ago. So you had time for the power to come back on and complete it. So don't procrastinate. Try to get things done as early as possible. But that said, I know this is a Mini-Mester course and it's all crammed together and you're going to be working kind of furiously anyway, so I will keep that in mind if you run into problems. So hopefully this is a good overview of what you need to know for the course. Read your syllabus carefully. Email me if you have any questions. And I'm looking forward to working with you. And I hope that you'll learn a little bit something about the United States and our history as you go through this course. And I'm hoping it'll be a pleasant experience. So get started. Let's have a good, very brief semester.